Rod Fleming in the Philippines here, and after that, let's have something serious. So, you know, because Elon Musk has taken over Twitter, I kind of felt it was appropriate for me to make my presence felt again, you know. I know that the lefties absolutely fucking hate me, but I hate them too, so, you know. Let's be quite clear about it. There is no love lost here. And if Elon Musk brings the left wing, which has been in control of this public platform for so long, under control, then he's done us all a great big favour. Yes, we do want to see Donald Trump back, by the way. Elon, just get it fixed, right? Get him back. We enjoyed his tweets. He was funny. I mean, that's the thing is, you know, leftists don't have a sense of humour. Have you noticed that? They don't. Anyway, one of the tweets I came across came from a bunch called Fourth Wave. Now, these are feminists, you know, and as such, they're not very smart, you know. But at the moment, as you probably are aware, there's a terrible, terrible thing going on where lots of young girls, you know, are having bits of their bodies chopped off in the name of trans something or another, you know. And they think that they'll be happier if they don't have any boobs and they don't have a womb, and then they can't get pregnant and maybe even get a fake penis installed. And of course, the real reason for this is feminism. And I was amused, I have been amused, so amused recently by the way that feminists just absolutely dodge the point here. So let me spell it out for you in very simple terms. If we go back to the 1960s, and certainly much farther back than that, but if we go back to the 1960s, women had it great. And the fact is that girls were not confused. What they would do is they would leave school at 15, which was the age at that time, and when they were 16, they would get married, and at 16 and 9 months, they would have their first baby. Sometimes a little sooner, but you know, some places premature babies are very common. Very, very unusually common. Anyway, this is what they would do. And they knew they were going to do that by the time they were 12. So they were getting their bottom drawer ready. You know, all the things that they would need for their married life prepared. And like that, in that state of being, that happy state of being, they were completely content. There was no trans. There were no girls thinking that they should have bits of their bodies cut off. There were none of that. It did not exist. Not happening. What happened? Feminism happened. Feminists came along and they told women, young girls, that they shouldn't have children. That being a mother was demeaning to a woman. That it was putting yourself under the control of a man, your husband. And that was something that no woman should ever do. I think you have to reflect a moment on the concentrated evil that statements like this actually represent. You know, human females are evolved to have babies soon after their first menses, after the menarche, it's called, which in most girls in the West is about 14 or 15, actually. Most animals, in fact, every animal I can think of, they do it immediately after the first menstruation. They go out and get pregnant. You know, talk to your cat. Don't you dare go out and get pregnant. I saw you menstruating. Meow. She's already had the local tomcat upper. The same is true of all mammals. You know, all animals that reproduce the way we do, the females get pregnant immediately after their first menstruation. Okay? It's just the way it is. That's the world. That's how it is. That's called evolution. And here is a little fact that you really need to drill into your head. You cannot buck evolution. You know, I am sick, fed up of feminists talking about, oh, determinism, biological determinism, that's so awful, we can't have any of that biological determination stuff, it's not allowed, we've got to get rid of it. Bullshit. You are what your genes make you. Girls are evolved to have babies. That's the function of the female in all dimorphic species. Please remember that. So what they've done is, they've said, oh no, having babies and being a proud mother and making a home and having a family, you know, that absolutely adores you and thinks you're the absolute bee's knees and loves you to bits. That's terrible for a woman. That's slavery. You know what Americans are like about slavery. You can't do that. You mustn't do that. You must be like a man. Well, men don't have any of these constraints. I don't know if you ever noticed, but men can't have babies. We make babies. We don't have babies. It's a different thing. But what the feminists have told them is it's demeaning. They even say achieving orgasm with a man is just capitulation to the patriarchy. That's the non-existent patriarchy, by the way, the one that only exists in the brains of these brain-dead feminists. Are we clear here? You know what you make? It's called a straw man. You make something up and then you spend the rest of the day shying nuts at it. That would be the nuts chopped off the men you hate, by the way. Anyway, what's happened is that they have told the girls that they mustn't have babies. That is a waste of your talent. As if anything could be more valuable or more satisfying than raising children. As if. But you find that most of these people are lesbians or they're academics and they don't have a functioning brain anyway. However, leaving that to one side. So they told the young girls, don't have kids. But evolution is saying, you're meant to have kids. And the girls are being told, well, be like men. And so the girls become depressed because nature is telling them to get pregnant. And all these feminists are trying to pretend that nature isn't important and say, no, don't do that. Whatever you do, leave that till you're 40. I mean, seriously. Have a career. You know, a career. Listen to Jordan Peterson, he's right. A career is just a job. For most people don't have careers. Most people have jobs. What they do, and that's it. It's not really a career. You sell your time and effort to somebody else. That's a job. So what they're actually saying is it's far better to have a job and to be exploited by the capitalist system. And remember, these people pretend to be socialists. Best to be exploited by the capitalist system than to make babies, which is what you're naturally evolved to do. And so what actually happened then is that girls go, I'm confused. I'm really confused here. I don't like this. I am confused. My body is saying, make babies. And everybody around me is saying, that's the last thing I should do. I should be like men. And then think, well, maybe if I make myself more like a man, I will stop being depressed. I will stop this conflict, this cognitive dissonance that occurs because I am not having babies when I should be having babies. And that is why you get all of this trans nonsense. That's why you get non-homosexual female transition. This is one of the greatest crimes against humanity that I have ever heard of. And it has all been engineered by a group of feminists, mostly lesbians, many academics, all of them political activists, and every single one of them a piece of shit. An absolute piece of shit. Who should be tied up in the town centre, in the stocks, and pelted with rotten tomatoes. I think, that's my opinion. That's why you've got the problem. Don't try blaming men for this. We had nothing to do with it. We were completely happy for the girls to be girls. Trust me. We loved it. We thought it was absolutely fantastic. Look at all these lovely girls. They're wonderful. Look at these young mothers with their babies. It's really sweet. It's lovely. All men like that. You know, I mean, there's mums on YouTube. There's one called something mother, you know, and she's in her 30s. She's got 3 kids. She's absolutely gorgeous, you know, and she just does the mum thing, and it's great. You go, that's so nice. It's so sweet. That's lovely. That's what women are happy doing, and she's obviously very bloody happy doing it. Women need feminism, you know, as they love to say, like a fish needs a bike. They need it like a hole in the head. It has been a catastrophic disaster, not just for women, but for the whole of society. And you don't believe me? Oh, you don't believe me? Oh, that's Rod. Oh, he's ranting again. Oh, he must be off his meds. No, I don't take any meds other than Red Horse, by the way. Come here. Come here. Yeah. To Southeast Asia, Philippines. Anywhere in Southeast Asia. Go to India. Go to most countries in Africa. Go to South America. Most countries in South America. Go there. How many crazy girls are there from these cultures who are going to doctors saying, oh, I'm trans, I need to have my boobs removed. Oh, help me, doctor, help me. I shall kill myself if you don't help. How many? Take a stab. It's approximately bloody zero. You know why? Because they still know what the function of a woman is. It's to be a mother. So they don't have any conflicts. They're not confused about their identity. They know what they are. They're a girl, which is a person who will be a mother. Settled, sorted. That's what you are. When your position in life is such that you will be a mother, you will be a mother. You know, I don't. Fine, you want to delay, you want to go to university, I'm fine, I'm all for education. But the problem is that the feminists have said, you must not have babies ever. No babies, not allowed. And if there are no babies, then there is no purpose in being female. Because the purpose of being female in all sexually dimorphic species is to gestate and produce children. I mean, it's absolutely bloody day one in biology. What is wrong with you people? And of course, as I said earlier, they've created this completely bogus notion, this bogus ideology that suggests that, oh, you can't have determinism. Of course you bloody can. What do you think you are? You know? You think you're God? Oh, I mean, you're certainly not the goddess, I can assure you of that. I know the goddess, I venerate the goddess. And the last thing any feminist is a bleeding goddess. You can't buck nature. Nature will beat you. It will destroy you. And that's what it's doing. That's what it's doing right now. The goddess, which is the earth, and which is nature, has turned around and said, listen, all your experiments in feminism are a disaster and I want you to stop now. Just stop. Stop telling girls that they shouldn't have babies. Encourage them to have babies. Encourage them to get married to stable men and have babies. And how do you do that? Well, I'll tell you how you do that. You stop with all this BS about sex with no consequences. I'm sorry, women are not men. Men can have sex with no consequences. Well, depending on whom they have sex with, you know. If you have sex with a girl and she gets pregnant, you've got consequences to deal with, buddy. And you better deal with them or I am not your friend. But there's lots of other things. Find yourself a nice ladyboy. I mean, there might be emotional consequences, but she is not. You know, I'll let you a little secret, lads. I mean, and lass is too so easy. Obviously, some of these things are obscure in the modern West. Ladyboys can't have babies. They're missing some vital parts, you know. But they can do everything else, and it's all great fun. So, hey, you can have all your consequence-free sex. It's not a problem. It's just not a problem. But as far as actual girls are concerned, no, they shouldn't be having consequence-free sex. They shouldn't be having any sex at all until they're married. Oh, and I'm sorry. Oh my God, how unfair, how unfair. You sexist, you sexist, you sexist, patriarchal. Oh, you patriarchal. Screw you. That's the truth. Our society is evolved for girls to make babies and to be supported by the women around them. And you went and screwed it all up. You brought in this nuclear family BS and you destroyed the whole damn thing. And now you're complaining. It's like, oh my God, what's happening to these poor girls? And I have every sympathy for these poor girls. I have every sympathy for the parents of these poor girls. I think it's bloody shocking. But I think that the people who caused this, the feminists, they ought to be taken out and tarred and feathered and driven round the town on the back of a lorry with people laughing at them. Because they're the ones who did this. Don't make any mistake about it. They did this. This catastrophe is entirely the fault of feminists. It would never have happened. Tell me how often this happened before feminism came along. Go on, tell me. I'm waiting. In countries where people haven't lost their position completely, where they haven't lost their direction, where they still understand the essential truths of life, like you find in Southeast Asia, there are no crazy women asking to have their boobs chopped off. Even the lesbians don't want that. They go, well, I'm just quite happy being a lesbian. I don't need surgery. I can look after a woman as well as any man, and that's what I'll do. And they have very good relationships with women who want that. I know quite a few, and they're fine, you know, we get on really well. Because they're just like guys, you know. HSTS lesbians, it's like, You fancy a beer then? And, oh yeah, okay, what about a game of darts? Yeah, up for that, cool. Well, it's pool here, not darts, but you know what I mean. They're very easy to get on with. They really are. It's like, well, you know, it's just one of the guys. And they're not looking for a surgery, for Christ's sake. What would they want? Cutting up my body. And the same is true of the ladyboys here. I suppose one of them ended up in hospital. A friend of mine, actually a very good friend of mine, so I'm not saying any names here. And we're not going to discuss how she ended up in the hospital or anything like that, but she ended up in the hospital, and one of her YouTube followers, oh no, sorry, it wasn't YouTube, it was one of the other ones, doesn't matter which. They're all basically the same. I said, oh, are you in hospital for the sex change then? And she flipped a nut. She said, no bloody doctor's going near me with that. I'm keeping mine, and that's enough of that nonsense. I mean, I know her. She's a very feisty girl, and she's lovely. You know, she's a complete sweetheart. I'm very fond of her. But she was furious. She was shocked to even suggest such a thing. I mean, she happens to have quite a large number, and it's quite pretty, you know. Why would she get rid of it? You see what I mean? It's the West that's screwed up. It's the West. The problem is the West. And the main problem of the West is feminism. That's what's doing the damage. That's what's screwing everything up. You need to get rid of the feminism. And I don't, you know, personally, I don't live in the West anymore, and I very much doubt if I ever will. My life has not got that many years left in it. And I have no desire to go back to that goddamn place. You know, people are afraid to say what they think. Making this video, I would probably get a visit from the boys in blue in Britain. They would think we were committed a non-crime hate incident, which we would like to talk to you about, you know. Sir! And to which I will say, go and piss off, you little prat. You get to a stage, certainly, in my life, when, or I do, where, you know, policemen are just little boys. It's like, don't even think about trying to pull rank on me, buddy, just because you're wearing a uniform. Don't even think about it. However, I'm sure I wouldn't go down well in Britain these days, which is basically a police state. So, no. What I am able to do is to look around me in Asia and see that Asian way is better. And that if the West wishes to recover, I'm not sure it does, but if the West does wish to recover, it will have to rediscover the proper way of doing things. That is the extended family, where grandma is actually in charge, where the whole culture is focused on making babies, on making children, and a healthy culture growing out of that. And the men work to make the money to do it. And until Britain, USA, and all the other places get back there, I can assure you that the precipitous decline that you're already in is just going to get steeper. And your culture is going to vanish. It's going to go away. It's going to disappear. Some parts of the West, especially those, you know, the wealthy, liberal, educated elite class, they have white class, they have reproductive rates now under 1.5. That is essentially cultural suicide. You need 2.1 just to stay where you are. You know, 1.5, that's it. You're on the way to the edge of the cliff. There ain't no way back. So you're going to have to do something about it bloody fast, or your culture is gone. How many of the girls that we're having the problem with just now are, let's see, of Latin American origin? None, because Latin girls, Latinas, no, and I'm not going to use that stupid Latin thing. Forget it. Latinas, and that's the correct grammar because Latinas know what they're there for. Latinas are there to find a man, to look after them, to tell that man what to do, and to get him to work for them, and, you know, to provide him with extremely pleasant sex when he needs it. Because men are so simple. We are so simple and stupid. That's all you need to do. You know, oh, come along, dear. You've been a good boy this week. I'll get myself a little bit hot and sweaty for you. But they know that. They know that. They're not under any bloody illusions that, you know, being in a relationship with a man is somehow a betrayal of your own sex or anything unbelievably, pervertedly stupid, such as is actually the core of feminist ideology today. So, when you look at the problems that have when you look at the problems that have occurred in places like Britain and the United States, where it's there is a serious, and it is a really serious problem, with young girls demanding surgical and hormonal treatments and then regretting it because, wait a minute, I'm not homosexual. Why would I want to be a man? What? You know, when they're 24 and they suddenly get sensible. This is all happening because of feminism. That is the problem. It doesn't happen where feminism isn't. And that should be enough to tell you. It didn't happen when feminism wasn't. The problem is feminism, and we have to get rid of it. Or just kiss the West goodbye. I ain't going to live long enough to worry about it, but I'm telling you how it's going down. And that's how it's going down. So take care, have fun, be good, and if you cannot be good, at least be enthusiastic. Makes all the difference, you know. Bye-bye.